Joey Bosa, who the Chargers drafted 3rd overall out of Ohio State, is the only first-round pick who has not signed with his team, and this is the longest a rookie player has remained unsigned under the NFL's current collective bargaining agreement. However, it appears the ball is in the team's court since July 28th. That was the day the team made an offer. Bosa quickly responded, and the Chargers have not countered. His future teammate, Chargers vet Antonio Gates, thinks Bosa should take a different approach, bypass his agents, make something happen on his own, saying sometimes you got to just, as a man, you got to step in and say, this is what it's going to be. Because sometimes, whether or not there's miscommunication with the general manager or the agent, whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your career. Stephen A., did Gates cross the line?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did to some degree. I'm tempted to sit there and say he should mind his damn business. The reason I say that is because Antonio Gates was suspended 4 games last year. In 2005, Antonio Gates held out before getting a contract extension. But you would feel the need to speak up now. So that's my initial thought, Max. That's my initial thought. But then I thought about it a little bit further. And I said to myself, I sort of understand where he's coming from, but I still wish he hadn't said anything. And Max, I'm gonna do something I normally don't do. I'm gonna give you the floor because I want to hear what you have to say first. Because I don't want to say what I'm about to say until I hear you speak.
This is an easy one. First, it starts with Tom Telesco, the GM, getting on the radio in San Diego, talking about, well, we need to compromise. That's a slimy PR campaign. That's the beginning of a slimy PR campaign by San Diego. Compromise. You got every guy who's been picked 3rd overall since the new slotting system in 2011-12, every single one of them either has offset language out of the contract or they get their bonus paid in full by the end of their rookie year. Every single one of them. So San Diego made an offer. Bosa's side countered. That they were like, okay, here's the compromise, one or the other. I'm not asking for both. Like Goff got, he was picked #1 overall. There's another guy in the top 5, got both. I'm not saying one. Here's the compromise, San Diego, just like everyone else in my position, drafted since the new slotting system, one or the other. Has San Diego countered since then? Not according to reports. The ball is in their court. It's their turn to do something.
So what about Antonio Gates?
Oh, I'm getting there. San Diego's got to do something. They haven't done anything. They're the ones not compromising. They're the ones being pig-headed. And now, because they know that, they are waging a media campaign, it seems, a slimy PR campaign against Bosa. It starts with Telesco on the radio. Oh, we need to compromise, please. And it feels like Gates is part of that. It feels as though Gates is coming out as kind of part of this push by the San Diego front office to exert pressure on Joey Bosa. And I would just say to Antonio Gates, why are you counting Joey Bosa's money? Leave that is none of your business. Leave that man's money alone.
That's why I said, go ahead, Max. Because that was my initial response. And then I thought about something. And I put my conspiracy theories in, I put it all in the mix. And I came to a conclusion. Antonio Gates looks a bit hypocritical because he's held out in 2005. Looks like he should shut the hell up since he's the one that got suspended for 4 games last year for PED use. I sat up there and I said, you know something? I'm going to give Antonio Gates a little bit of credit. Because Antonio Gates has been around the NFL long enough. He understands how this works. He also understands how Joey Bosa may be biting off his hand to spite his face and not even realizing it. Antonio Gates may very well be going about the business of warning Joey Bosa about exactly what's going on and giving the brother a heads up about the politics of the NFL. Because here's what Joey Bosa needs to realize. And again, we live in a society where a lot of these football players, yes, you know, you got black folks spending over $1.3 trillion in this country. You got black folks with money here. Everybody ain't poor, but you got, but by and large, when you look at some of these football players, particularly white football players, they come from better backgrounds. So the belief is we can hold out a little bit longer. We can stay the course. We don't have to bend. We don't have to fold. But this is the NFL. And the NFL ain't about that. They will squash you like a little bug when you least expect it. Sometimes even when you do expect it. Even if you're Joey Bosa. You're Joey Bosa. You're coming out of Ohio State. You got a high motor. That was your M.O. Kim Dichie, people thought that he was better than Joey Bosa. Some people thought that anyway. So when you look at Joey Bosa, and the fact that he has some things to prove. And then you combine that with the fact that you find yourself in this situation with the San Diego Chargers. Antonio Gates, as hypocritical, duplicitous, and downright phony as he may look to the naked eye, in fact, might be trying to look out for Joey Bosa by trying to help him and warn him. Publicly as well as privately.
By the way, that might even be Antonio Gates' intention.
Right.
But the effect of it is is essentially, at least attempts, to exert pressure on Bosa to do the team's bidding.
Not if Antonio Gates is telling them that's what they're going to do to you, Joey.
Well,
be ready.
Well, here's the thing about the Chargers right now. The Chargers, remember, Phillip Rivers came out in that same draft with Eli and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep.
Right.
And Phillip Rivers is just as good as those guys. I mean, those guys are, whoever you want to order them, Roethlisberger on top, whatever.
Yeah, he just doesn't have any rings. He just doesn't have any rings.
He just doesn't have any rings because he is playing for an inferior organization. He's not playing for the Steelers. He's not playing for the Giants. He's playing for the Chargers. The Chargers do not seem very serious. Look, the AFC West this year, we talk about that top 10 poll, right? You know, the power rankings. Every other team in the division is in the top 10 power rankings. Chargers aren't. And now they have a top 3 draft pick, and they're playing games with him, and they're enlisting their greatest tight end ever to try to exert pressure and using the GM on radio to exert pressure to save a dollar, or really not even save a dollar, just so they can have precedent set in such a way that favors them going forward in negotiations. This is not the way a top-flight franchise is run. The Chargers look bad here. Antonio Gates, at the very least, I appreciate your point, it's a good one, but at the very least, looks bad here. And you know what? You reap what you sow, San Diego. There are elite franchises and there are other kinds of franchises, and right now San Diego's behaving like the other kind of franchise.
When you give somebody a heads up and you're warning them, it don't matter how you look if you got a contract. And it doesn't matter how you look if you've been in the league for years and you and Phillip Rivers know that the clock is ticking and you got an opportunity to do something this year, particularly in a suspect AFC West. You got Mark Sanchez, Paxton Lynch, or Simeon that could be the quarterback in Denver. You got Oakland on the come up but haven't proven themselves yet. You got the Kansas City Chiefs, who should be the favorites out west with Andy Reid, Alex Smith, and the crew. But you just never, ever know because Alex Smith is the ultimate game manager who manages to win games, but also doesn't manage to win them for you when there's a deficit that he has to overcome. So if you are the Denver Broncos, I'm sorry, if you are sitting there and you're the San Diego Chargers, you have an opportunity with a Phillip Rivers to really, really make some noise.
Give the boys some help.
If you get anything on the defensive side, you could give him some and give him some help.
And they're more interested.
That's what it is.
They're more interested in making sure the precedent is their way for future negotiations.
That don't mean that's what Antonio Gates was thinking.
Good.
That doesn't mean that's what Antonio Gates was thinking.
Antonio Gates appears like he's doing the team's bidding. Whether or not he is, that's the appearance of it.
They certainly need Bosa. We all know that.
We don't know that. We don't know that. We think they do.
We
don't know what Bosa's going to do.
They went to the playoffs.
I'm just saying, we don't know what Bosa's going to do. We don't know.
That boy good.
Yeah,
when we come back, a little more NFL. Power rankings are hot off the press. You won't believe where America's team lands. We'll show you that in React after the break. Plus, two-time Super Bowl champ Damian Woody will join us for that conversation. Stay here.
On the Hook is